Was Jane Birkin the hottest girl in town, or did Brigitte Bardot steal the spotlight? In this video we plunge into the world of a rivalry between the two goddesses, when two women share more than secrets, but a man. But that's not all. How Jane Birkin's melody turned so intoxicating that the Vatican banned it. Soon you will find out. She was a creative icon, a symbol of 20th century beauty, radiating timeless elegance. She would forever be missed by lovers, fans, and well-wishers who continue to mourn her recent departure to eternal glory at the age of 76. One thing that's always in the entertainment news is her famous romance and music connection with Serge, and we can't talk about it without mentioning the stunning Brigitte Bardot. When we heard that Jane Birkin had passed away, I was one of those who looked back at her career highlights. She was an icon of beauty. She was one of the most stylish celebrities of her time, blending British and French charm. She became a superstar with one song, a song even the Vatican City didn't want to hear. We knew it, Jane Birkin said it herself, that when she is no more, people will remember her with the song. And here we are talking about this great British-French actress and remarkable singer. Of course not for her career exploit, but the things that defined her personal-cum-romantic life. Most fans liked how cute and great she acted in French movies, and don't forget she got famous all around the world for being partners with Serge Gainsbourg in music and romance for a whole decade. Let's look back to 1966, when Birkin was 20 years old. She was part of the exciting times in the swinging city. This is when she showed off her long hair and stylish look in the movie Blow Up. That production saw young Birkin playing the role of a fledgling lassie with quintessential teenage dreams. Viewers interpreted her act as one who wanted to be the hottest girl in town. Maybe, maybe not. We saw the same kind of dream materialize in her real life thereafter. Some critics assume that the movie was a herald of her entertainment greatness. Before long we saw Birkin moving around London wearing striped clothes. She had a young and innocent look, but she always wanted to be known as a super-famous fashion icon. Jane Birkin had a special way of doing things that was hidden in her many talents and her cool mix of two cultures. She loved creative stuff like music, movies, clothes and books. This made her super charming and elegant. Do they say she was a master of them all? There's sure much to talk about this great prima donna. I heard that Serge Gainsbourg's initial obsession with Jane Birkin was cemented with the acclaimed infamous single Je t'aime, moi non plus. People all around didn't like the song, and even the Vatican said no. But Jane's special someone, Serge Gainsbourg, didn't care, and Jane herself said it was good fun. Observers said Jane Birkin did all she could to honour the musical legacy of her lover, Serge Gainsbourg. Whether she was acting, posing for pictures, or singing her heart out to her fans, she always gave credit to a man who played a big role in making her famous. I was privy to her stage performance at New York City's Beacon Theatre some time ago, where she played a selection of Serge's songs with a live orchestra. The concert tour was called Birkin Gainsbourg, the Symphonic. Their daughter, actress and musician Charlotte Gainsbourg, even joined in for a guest performance. Serge Gainsbourg, a famous French singer and songwriter, was known for making songs that caused a lot of talk during his music career. He didn't mind stirring things up with his music. Sadly, these two musical icons had answered their call to glory, but the erotic Je t'aime, moi non plus, translated as I love you, me neither, which they gave humanity, is what is keeping their name in the front burner and keeping their fans busy asking why and why not. When we talk about the song, we also talk about another beauty icon, the famous Brigitte Bardot. When that song was making a lot of noise in Italian nightclubs, the Holy City thought it was not right for its people to keep listening to what they called the forbidden fruit in music, so the Vatican, through its newspaper, told Italians and its faithful followers not to listen to it. Even though Birkin and Serge went their separate ways around 1980, this famous song, believed to be made in a controversial heaven, it has still kept them connected in a way that religious people might call in spirit and truth. I also heard that the epic romance between Birkin and Serge did not come like a typical love at first sight. I still recall Birkin telling fans that the first time she met him she was completely turned off, and I asked what changed thereafter. Once upon a time, a song was recorded by Serge and his ex-lover Brigitte Bardot. She asked him to write a special love song for her, but later they stopped singing it because Bardot got worried her husband might find out. People were talking, saying the whispered voices in the song weren't just about love. Here's a juicy tidbit. When Serge first met Birkin, it was a mix of happy and sad. See, Bardot had ended her romance with Serge. He felt sad about losing Bardot, and also the song he thought he'd never sing. Then Serge got a big role in a movie called Slogan. He played a character who was bitter and not very hopeful about love. In the movie he acted opposite Jane Birkin, and he sort of treated her like she'd caused his problems. Birkin, who felt his charm, did her best to mingle with him. Not too long after, the story changed as the two stars realised that they had more to offer each other and their teeming fans. Time passed and the news of their relationship spread like wildfire through the media. They were like a perfect couple in the spotlight and became icons of their time, especially with the Wild single. Analysts said Serge took obstinate delight in doing the song away from her position, so as she extended her voice, it appeared like that of a boy child. We got to learn that Jane Birkin's jealousy over Brigitte Bardot led her to do the song with Serge. Let's get to know Jane better. She was born in London. Her mother, Judy Campbell, was also an actress, and her father, David Birkin, was a Royal Navy commander. Her childhood was a bit unique in its own way. Growing up in Chelsea, young Birkin was a typical shy English girl who was bullied for her early looks. I suffered a lot because of my physique, especially at boarding school, she recounted. Her mates thought she was half boy, half girl because she had a flat breast. In her teenage innocence, young Birkin endured all the insults and later described it as horrible. Birkin started early. She mentioned taking her first sleeping pill at 16. By 17 she met her first husband, John Barry, and they had their first child. Barry left for the United States, ending that union, but many things happened between. Barry, who was 13 years her senior, had her in his musical Passion Flower Hotel. When asked how she put up in that union, Birkin said she was insecure and couldn't believe that this sophisticated, talented genius married her as against other beautiful girls. She had not gotten over her childhood inferiority complex, so would sleep with an eye pencil handy to shield her tiny piggy eyes from him. His departure forced her to return to her family and take her destiny by her hand. The song Je t'aime moi non plus spread around the world like a contagious bug. People criticised it a lot, but almost everyone still wanted to hear it. The song was banned on many radio stations in the UK, as well as some in Europe. It wasn't played much in the US, and it was only allowed on the airwaves after 11 p.m. in Gainsborough's home country. But still, the song's popularity spread like wildfire. Reports said Fontana played it in the UK, but hurriedly removed it when the single rose to number 2 in the charts. Not deterred by prevailing controversy, Serge took his song to Major Minor. The re-release booked the number 1 position on the charts. All the hullabaloo ensured that the single became the first to be prohibited in the UK, and the first foreign language single to hit number 1 in the region. But is it true Jane Birkin was jealous of Brigitte Bardot? From the look of things, it seemed Birkin first picked interest in Serge, as she later recounted. He looked at me like I was the last thing he wanted to see, she stated, recalling how their initial meeting transpired. After he learned he would be appearing in Slogan with her, Jane Birkin, who was in her early 20s, talked about how she felt clumsy and new to acting. She even mentioned that she didn't know how to speak French well back then, but she concluded he was sarcastic and unfriendly. Gainsborough, who was almost 20 years older, didn't seem friendly during the movie filming, but then something interesting happened. She found out about his secret button. One special night at a Paris nightclub, the director of the film might have noticed some hidden chemistry between them. He decided to help their mood by inviting Serge onto the dance floor to dance with Birkin. Birkin said to her, "Amazement, he couldn't dance. He walked on my feet." She started thinking, how charming. He's been so arrogant and so full of himself, but she realised that it was not what she was thinking. As she puts it, he was shy. There was a little change of pace as they wined and dined from club to club until daybreak. Realising he has been unfair to Birkin, Serge had asked her to accompany him home, which she accepted, but soon realised that it was not what she thought. On arrival at a hotel, Birkin could not believe her eyes when she heard the hotel janitor ask if Serge wanted his usual room, as she thought, "Oh, this happens every time." Now conscious, she joined him upstairs, slipped into the bathroom for a short period, and found Serge fast asleep minutes later. Serge, who before this time was already a double divorcee, dated Brigitte Bardot, plus an infamous reputation as a scoundrel. His charm was, however, all over that Birkin could not help but fall for him. This was also what she hinted at when she said everyone thought he was frightening and dangerous, something that turned her on. It was like having a secret person just for me, she later confessed. If her opinion is anything to go by, then her parents also adored him. At this time Birkin's daughter was about 2 years old. The moment her mother set eyes on Serge, he captured her interest and won her over. Let me take you back to a funny memory. Jane and Serge went to a Chinese restaurant. Guess what? They had to take off their shoes. They saw something funny. Serge had drawn on his toe with a black pen to hide his holy socks. Jane's mum thought it was a total laugh, and if you think Birkin's parents were not supportive of that notorious single, you are on your own, because they did. Imagine a song where Birkin and Gainsbourg seem to be giggling and whispering to each other, like they're sharing a secret. It even sounds like Birkin is reaching a peak of happiness, but this song's explicit message was strong enough to get the Vatican to say, "No way," and ban people from hearing it. Gainsbourg was loving the success of the song. Birkin shared that she let him make the song with her because she didn't want him to release an old version he made with his ex-lover, Brigitte Bardot. When Birkin realized that Serge, the guy she loved so much, might release this touchy song with Bardot, she felt hurt and jealous. So she made her own version to replace the old one. She admitted, "I just did it entirely out of jealousy." But when it comes to Serge, Birkin thought he was smart enough not to cause trouble. She believed he wouldn't release a song that might upset Bardot's marriage. That's why he kept their work hidden away like a secret treasure. It was not about Bardot, because she was already married at the time to Gunter Sachs. It would have been quite a scandal for such a song to go on air. So there was also the fear of other women who Birkin thought were more beautiful than her, pestering her man, Serge. And like you know, she grew up with a certain complex about her look that may have remained in her subconscious mind. She had thought that sooner a more beautiful girl would come up and take him away from her, the reason she did everything to please him, including accepting doing the track with him. When I popped up a year later, Birkin explained, he had asked her to sing with him. It was too juicy an offer that she could not say no to, because, as she puts it, "I knew all the girls were hovering around Serge. I said, yes, I will do it." We rushed to London to record it. About what attracted Birkin most about Serge, she talked about his humorous nature. "He's the funniest man I've ever known, apart from my own father." This statement baffled me as much as it pleased my ear. What do I know about love? If only men would all be as funny as possible, they would not be having issues with their wives. But his funny personality couldn't make their relationship last forever. When they broke up, Birkin felt content that Serge remained a true friend, and nothing more. Brace yourselves for our next video, how Brigitte Bardot liberated women's society. You won't want to miss her story.